My name is Madison Barra, and welcome to my podcast, where it's all about teaching you how to lose weight, keep it off, and actually enjoy the process. I've lost over 70 pounds, and these are the failures and lessons I've learned along the way. Hope you enjoy and subscribe. So today, I would like to talk about a topic that is very near and dear to my heart from personal experience, and it is disordered eating habits. Now, not eating disorders, it's a separate topic. This is just disordered eating habits. And this is something where you're like, I know that I eat this way, or I know that I think about food this way, and I know that it's not right, or at least know that it should be better, or I want some type of food freedom and not being so obsessive or repeat so many toxic cycles and patterns. And in particular, the disordered eating I want to talk about today is hiding and eating. Or maybe not necessarily going out of your way to hide, but definitely not wanting too many people to see, right? So this type of hiding or sneak eating. And the reason I want to talk about this is because this is something that I used to do a lot. And it's something that I was just talking to one of our ladies in the Tremera tribe. And she was talking about how, as she was going through her health journey and dealing with her stuff, she was noticing that her daughter was starting to hide food, like late at night, go down in the fridge and bring it up into her room. And so if this is you, if you are either sometimes hiding your food or sneaking food, or you feel judged when you're eating, or you don't want people to see you eat certain things, this is going to be for you. And or even if you are somebody that knows somebody that's hiding their food, or somebody in your house or your family is trying to get healthy, and you try to help them by telling them what they should and shouldn't do, right? So for an example, this lady in our Tremera tribe and her daughter, she would see her daughter eating too much or unhealthy foods, and she would say, hey, sweetheart, should you be eating that? That's a lot of food, right? Like, maybe you don't eat that, maybe just eat half, right? She's kind of telling her what to do. Even though it was healthy, good advice, she's still telling her daughter what to do. And the reason I say this is because how many times have you done that to somebody, right? Oh, don't eat that, or you shouldn't have eaten that, or don't do that, have this instead, right? Like, we give our opinions. And then think about this. How many times has somebody done that to you, or they've given you a look, right? Has your grandmother given you a look and say, hey, do you really need that extra cookie? Or has your husband said, oh, you're going to have a second plate, really? Or your kid has said, mom, you shouldn't probably be eating that, right? So whenever somebody has commented on your eating, how does it feel? We usually snap. I don't know about you, but I would get super defensive right away, and I'd get mad, and I'd get put in a bad mood, and I'd be like, don't talk to me, I'm doing it anyway, right? And so the point I bring up is, if you are personally struggling with hiding sometimes what you eat, or somebody that is hiding what they eat, or we're trying to be healthy, but we're going about it in the wrong way. And I say that because when has anybody told you, don't do that, stop doing that, you sure you want to eat that? When has that ever actually worked long term, right? Because there is nothing, I know this for me, there's nothing anybody could ever say about food to me that I would listen to. There's nothing. If someone told me don't eat that, there's no way that I would make a decision about food from what somebody else has pushed their opinion on me. Now, have I in the past? Yes. Will I in the future? Yes. But here's the thing that I'm trying to get at. Even if someone tells me what to do with food and I listen to them, so they say, hey, you sure you should have that second piece of pizza or that fourth piece of pizza? And I say, no, you're right, and I put it back. Here's the thing. I didn't make a healthy decision for me. I didn't consciously make that decision. I made that decision because I was afraid of what you were going to think of me if I had that extra piece. And so what I would end up doing is I'd just not eat it in front of you, and then later that night, I'd come down and have twice as much. And so if you are somebody who's either impressing your food opinions or judgments, even if they're coming from a good place onto somebody, what I need you to understand is that there's nothing you could possibly say that would be helpful in regards to telling them what to do with food. You can talk about what you do with food. You can talk about how great you're feeling making these decisions. You can offer healthy decisions if they ask for your advice. But I'm telling you from a place of personal experience that there's not one time anybody has told me to do something with food that was effective and productive and helpful to me long term. In fact, what it did do growing up is now I would hide my food because these people have told me not to eat it, or they made me question if I should be eating it. And instead of questioning it myself and thinking, oh, this isn't healthy, I don't need this. Oh, I didn't, exercise too much today, so I don't need the extra energy from the food. Oh, this is going to make me feel crappy and bloated and tired tomorrow. I shouldn't eat this. Instead of me coming to my own conclusions about the food that I'm eating, I've now let other people make me make a decision, and I skipped that entire thought process of coming to that conclusion myself. And so if somebody has been doing this to you, or if you've been doing it to somebody else, we are losing an opportunity to actually strengthen our relationship with food and have true food freedom. Instead of always obsessing over, I shouldn't eat this, I should eat this, why did I eat this? Oh, they're going to see me eat this. Oh, I can't wait to eat this later. Oh, I'm fantasizing about my next cheat day, right? Food is fuel. Now, it enhances your life and there's some excitement about it, but it shouldn't be the biggest dopamine hit we get all day, to the point where we need to hide it because we can't not eat it. We have to go eat it and we don't want anybody to see, right? And so if you are somebody who struggles with this sneaking eating or hiding and eating, or you feel judged, think about it from the perspective of what they're doing, right? The people that are potentially judging you, whether they've actually said things or given you looks, or maybe you're just self-conscious and feel judged and you're actually not. What you can take from this call is you need the people around you, if you're serious about, healing your relationship with food and kicking these habits that are, in my opinion, very exhausting. Like, not only is sneaking into the kitchen a new level of stealth, right? We walk quietly so we don't make a creak on the floor. We open the lid softly so no one can hear us open anything, right? We open the cutlery drawer slowly so the knives don't jiggle, right? I even used to put my wrappers, I used to open the garbage, lift up garbage, and put my garbage underneath it so no one can see it. That's how judged I felt. And it wasn't anybody's intention. And of course, it's all on me for how I feel. But it also, I realized the people in my life were perpetuating this habit and not helping me break free from it by judging me or by commenting on my food. There's no need to comment on anybody's food because it's not going to work. Comment on your own food and offer advice when asked. That is my rule of thumb. So if you're struggling with hiding your food, that is what you can ask of the people who you're feeling judged by, or the people. And if you don't know if you're feeling judged by people, just simply ask yourself, are these the people I'm hiding from? Or if it's people in your life that you're trying to help, it would be stop commenting on their food, share your experience with food, and only give advice when asked, right? Because opinions are like assholes. We all have them and they all stink, or whatever that saying is, right? So the first step in breaking free of this pattern yourself, or helping others do so, is starting to make your own food choices. Up until this point, if you struggle with hiding your food, a large percentage, if not all the percentage of the decisions you've made around food have not been your own. They have been either, I'm eating this because I don't want to look bad, or I'm choosing to eat this because it makes me feel good and relieve stress, or I'm eating this because I don't want someone to think I'm fat, or I'm hiding eating this because someone is judging me, right? Like, all of these decisions that have made us choose food, why we've chosen food, it hasn't been our own. We haven't said, I want this because it's good for my body. I want this because I genuinely want it, right? Like, where are these wants of our food coming from? Because it's not coming from, I want to fuel my body because I'm going on a long run tomorrow. It's not coming from, oh, my knees are bothering me, I need to strengthen my quads and get a workout in, so I need to fuel that workout properly. It's not coming from, oh, I've had a lot of brain fog recently, maybe I should adjust my food and have less sugar to help me. These reasons we're choosing what to eat is not for our body. It's either to satisfy our mind emotionally or to satisfy the people around us. And so at what point in your life does your food decisions actually become your food decisions, not based on the judgment of others or the perceived perception someone else will have by you eating that? Really quick, you guys know that I do not run any ads or try to sell you anything on this podcast. The only thing that I would ever ask of you is that you help me spread the word so that I can help more women lose weight, keep it off, live a healthy life, and love themselves in the process. And the only way that we can make that happen is if you rate, review, and share this podcast. So the single thing that I would ask from you is if you could please leave a review. It'll take about 10 seconds. It would mean the world to me, but more importantly, it could change the world for somebody else. Back to the podcast. Right? You ever go out to a restaurant and your friend orders a salad and chicken, and then you feel like an asshole for ordering a burger and fries. Like, you feel bad about yourself, and then so you change your order and you're like, okay, I'll have a salad and chicken too. And guess what? That's another example of you not making your own food decision, right? Now, should you have the chicken and salad if you're looking to lose weight? Probably. But here's the thing, that's not the problem we're trying to solve, first of all, because we can never keep the weight off if we carry these hiding habits with us, right? So how do we tackle this hiding habit, the sneaking habit, the feeling judged habit first? Well, you have to take back control of your food decisions. So every time you're eating something, you need to recognize, why did I choose this? Why am I eating this? It doesn't matter what you're choosing, right? I don't care what you eat. Eat whatever you want. Sometimes you have to be given permission to eat whatever you want, whenever you want, to stop and break free from that restrictive style of eating you've been in forever. So you can actually start to heal your relationship with food, be okay eating those quote unquote bad foods that you've labeled for so long, so that long term, you're not binging on these. You don't feel guilty about eating this stuff. You can actually eat it portion controlled and maintain your weight at the same time. So take back control of your food decisions, okay? And you do this by asking yourself, why am I making this decision, right? Why am I sneaking? So all of these habits you are doing, you can continue to do them. We're not trying to get rid of them. What we're trying to do first is do them all publicly. So if you feel like you want to have what I used to do is I used to eat peanut butter late at night in the pantry, and I just go to town with a spoon in the peanut butter jar and hope no one heard me. And I'd wash the spoon silently, and I'd put it back in the drawer silently, and I'd put the peanut butter, I'd smooth out the top of the peanut butter so it didn't look like I ate anything. And then I'd perfectly place the label where it was facing before I picked it up. Like, that just sounds exhausted, because I was exhausting, right? That sounds exhausting. So if you really want to work on these habits and stop feeling so ashamed of them, because that's how I felt. I felt like ashamed, like really, I just hid my own garbage. Like, it's silly, right? So if we really want to break free and get back in control, it is do whatever you want, but you got to do it in public. So if you want to eat that peanut butter like I did, you eat it in public. You grab that jar and you sit down on the couch, you do it in front of your husband or your kids, right? And you ask them for their support and saying, I'm trying to make my own food decisions. Usually I would probably go hide and do this, and I don't want to do that anymore, right? And you don't have to have that conversation, right? Even at a party, right? What I would normally do is I sneak off into the kitchen and I start nibbling and nibbling on the snacks at the table and hope no one walks in on me as I shove my face full of little hors d'oeuvres, right? That's what I used to do as well. And so we only do that, right? So an example of that party example, instead of sneaking off to the kitchen, I'd go make a huge plate and I'd go sit down with everybody else and eat, right? So I wouldn't stop what I was doing, because that's not the first step here. It would be stop being ashamed of what you're doing. There's nothing to be ashamed of. It is just up until this point, the majority of your food decisions, if not all, have been because of somebody else. Whether they did that on purpose or they had good intentions, but now it's backfired a little bit. So you take back control by making your own conscious food decisions and stop letting other people make them for you or influence your food choices. Have what you want. Have what you want, and don't worry about what other people are going to think about it, because at the end of the day, you are the one that is going to crush your goal. You will get there, but this is a necessary step to stop feeling ashamed of what you eat all the time. And to some degree, almost every woman I've coached hides some type of food, right? Like, if there was a woman who struggled with hiding and eating and I invited her out to lunch, a client, how do you think she'd order in front of me? Right? She'd probably get the salad dressing on the side, right? Because she thinks I'm judging her, and I'm not. You're the only one judging you, or you're the most important one judging you. So let it go, right? So start making your own food decisions going forward. Understand that up until this point, other people have been influencing how you're eating. And how can you ever be happy with food if it's been other people's opinions or judgments impressed on you? And how can you ever keep the weight off if it was someone else helping you lose weight, right? If it was someone else always policing you, saying, have this instead, you sure you should have that? Maybe you don't have that. How can you ever keep the weight off if someone else helped you lose it in that regard, right? Because there's no secret that time won't reveal, right? What you eat in public always shows up, or what you eat in private always shows up in public. And so you gain control back by not giving the power away to somebody else. And so I want to break you free of those chains, or help you break somebody else in your life free of those chains. You have nothing to be embarrassed of. You have nothing to be ashamed of. This is a journey. We have to relearn and unlearn a lot of habits. And it just comes from realizing where this is stemming from, and that you have complete control over your food decisions. Don't worry about what food decisions you make. Just worry about making them and make sure you're the one that made them to start. If you found this podcast valuable, I hope you can leave a 5-star review. And if you want to learn more about how to lose weight fast and for good, visit Tremera.com. Thank you for listening, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss another episode.